Guys, what's going on? It's Meti here. Today I'm bringing you the beginner guide about how the itemization work in general in Path of Exile 2 and then talk about different terms POE players use when they wanna talk to each other about items and how to craft them. I'm gonna break these to three parts. The first part we are gonna talk about item types, item level, item requirement, modifiers, which includes implicit and explicit modifiers, and then modifier tiers and stats. The second part, we discuss what basic currencies are and how to use them to do basic crafting. And the last part is about how to use a crafting Excel tool to learn more about items, what modifiers can roll on them, and what are the odds to roll higher tier mods on items depending on the mod's weight. And I just want to say I will make intermediate and advanced crafting guide as well if I see you guys are interested. So without further ado, let's get started. So we said the first part we are going to talk about item types. All right, the first thing is the item types. So what item types? What is the item types? Item types are categorized by their rarity. They are normal, magic, rare, unique, or legendary item types in the game, and also they have a base type. In other words, there are four different base rarities in the game, and each has restriction on what currencies you can use on them. So there are four different base rarities in the game. The first one is normal. Actually, these are our basic white items that can only have their base stats and sometimes a basic implicit. The magic ones can have up to one prefix modifier and one suffix modifier. I'm gonna go over what modifiers are in a bit. And then we have rare items, and they can have up to three prefix modifiers and three suffix modifiers, and the uniques or the legendary items. You can also call them legendary items. They have a specific set of explicit modifiers that cannot be modified by most of the currencies in the game. So there are some exceptions that you can use divine orbs to reroll the numerical values on them, uh, numerical values of the explicit modifiers on them, and then reroll values of the implicit modifiers, and we can also val them and to corrupt the item. We're gonna go over these things later. So the normal item. This is the normal item. You see, it has no prefix, it has no suffix, it's just a basic white item. And sometimes I said they can have a basic implicit, right? This is the example. You see that 15% to blood chance? This is the basic implicit on a normal type item. This is also a normal item. What else? This is also a normal item. And we have so many different types of item in the game. We have talismans, which they are weapons. We have armors. Armors include helmet, boots, gloves, body armor, and we have also rings, we have belt, we have amulet, and so on. So the second type was the magic. They can have up to one prefix modifier and one suffix modifier. So what's the magic item is? This is the magic item. You can see if you hold Alt on the item, you can see it has one prefix there and one suffix. And we said items can hold up to three prefix and three suffix, but this is a magic item, right? So it can hold only one prefix and one suffix. So what is the rare item? This is a rare item. You see, it has more than two affix on it. So in this case, we have two prefix and two suffix on this item. So this is a rare item. Any item that has more than two modifier on it, it's gonna be a rare item. The last type was a unique item or legendary. This is a unique item. As you can see, it has four modifiers in this case. There are uniques that has more than four modifiers. For example, they have six modifiers on them. There are exceptional cases that they can have more than six modifiers on them. But 90% of the times, items cannot have more than six modifiers on them. So the third type was a rare, and it can hold up to six modifiers on them. Alright, we are done with the item types. So let's talk about the item level and item requirement, which I see there is lots of confusions about this uh, two terms. Item level, what the item level is. So once you hold Alt on an item and hover over it, you can see the item level on it and also the requirement on it. So here, as you can see, this item has an item level and also a requirement. So the item level on this specific item is level 22 and the requirement is level 9. So what the requirement is your level character. So when your character is under level 9, you cannot equip this item. But the item level is it doesn't have anything to do with your character level or the item requirement. As the item gets more modifiers on it, the requirement level is gonna go higher. But the item level cannot change in any circumstances. But the requirement of a level can change as it gets more modifiers on it. Alright, so this is a magic item and item level 22 and requirement is level 9. So let's go see this one. This is a normal item. The item level is 75, 79 and the requirement is level 40. So your character has to be level 40 and then you are able to equip this item. The item level cannot get changed, but you will see in a bit. If I use currency on it, the requirement level is gonna go higher. If I use basic currencies on it and just level up this ring. Let's do it right now. So I'm gonna just hit it with the basic currencies for now, the orb of transmutation. We can hit it with the greater orb of transmutation and the perfect orb of transmutation. And what's the reason? Because the item level is 79. So why we can use perfect orb of transmutation? If you see the description, you can see that the minimum modifier level to use this currency is 70. Our item is level 79, so we are allowed to use this uh, on this ring. We can also use the normal orb of transmutation and the second one, which is called greater orb of transmutation. This one has minimum modifier level 55, so we still able to use it on this item. But if I go and bring this item here, no, this is not a good example. Yeah, this would be fine, but this is a magic item. We cannot use orb of transmutation and augmentation on it. because we can only use these two currencies on a white item. This is a white item, so we can use all these three types of currencies on it because the item level is 79. So let's bring this back. This is item level 11. So the only thing, if this item was white, we can use only orb of transmutation and orb of augmentation on it. We cannot use these two and these two on it because the minimum modifier level is 55, 55, and for these two are 70 and 70, and this is only item level 11. So this is a magic item. We can use the regal orb on it. And these two are also like this. The minimum modifier level is 35, as you can see, but these two are 55, so there is a difference. For the regal orb is lower. This is level, this needs minimum modifier level 35, and this one 50. For exalted orbs are the same, 35 and 50. For the chaos orbs are the same, 35 and 50. We're gonna go over each of these currencies, what they do. So we're gonna hit this with a regal orb, and we're gonna see the requirement level went up by 1. It was 11, right? So as we hit this item with more modifiers, so exalted orb can augment a rare item with a near random modifier. So let's uh, use it on this item. We usually say slam exalt orb. POE players say slam. So we're gonna slam it with one exalt. It gets one more modifier on it. So the item level is still 12. Let's do more and one more time. The requirement level didn't go higher, but in most cases, especially if the requirement level is higher, if you slam it with exalt, the requirement can go higher. I'm pretty sure about this. I'll show you an example later on a different item. So this item, as you can see now, has 3 prefix and 3 suffix. And each of these modifiers has tiers. You see on the right is T6, T6, T8, T8, T7, T8, for example. As the tiers go lower, they are gonna be more valuable, and they are gonna be better. So for example, if this was T3, the modifier life on it was like 80 or 90, but as you can see, this is T6 and this is only plus to 39 to our maximum life. So as the tiers go lower, the better they are gonna get. All right, so we went over the item level and item requirement. So we're gonna talk about modifiers right now. We already talked about it a little bit, but I'm just gonna go and talk deeper about the modifiers and stats because they are very closely related, but they are technically not the same thing. The modifier and stats. So what modifiers are? We can also call them affixes. These are the individual lines of a text on an item. So you see here the prefix and the suffix. These are the modifiers. So we can have 3 prefix and 3 suffix. The increased energy shield is a prefix and it's a modifier on a helmet, for example. So what the stats are? The stats are the specific numerical values of your character or item properties. So when you equip this helmet, so we go here, you, so hit C on your keyboard, click on the C on your keyboard. So the character stat is gonna get open. As you can see, these are the stats on your character. So we call these stats. For example, this is the life stat, this is the energy shield stat, this is the mana stat, this is the spirit stat, and so on. The resistances are also stats, so they are different uh, than modifiers. So modifiers are just the lines of text on your items. The stats are the like what's it called? Uh, the properties of your character, the stats. So we also went over the difference between the modifiers and stats. And now I want to talk about how they work together. So the modifiers are the source that provides or changes the stats. Like for example, a modifier on your boots is like plus 10 to a strength. So it's gonna increase your whole strength stat on your character. So what are the main differences between the implicit and explicit modifiers? So in the beginning of the video, I said modifiers includes implicit and explicit modifiers. So implicit mods are actually innate to the base item, uh, whereas explicit mods are the extra affixes, prefix, and suffix generated on the item. So, for example, you see this talisman, this is a weapon. This has an implicit modifier on it. This block chance here is an implicit modifier. But see this talisman, this doesn't have any implicit modifier on it. This one has. This one also has. This gives a skill level to your character. Level 18 mana drain. This is also an implicit modifier. This one doesn't have any. This one doesn't have any. These ones doesn't have. This one has one. You see, implicit modifier. This gives you increased rarity of items found. This one also has implicit. Maximum quality is 40%. We're gonna talk about this later in the intermediate part of this crafting guide. So for example, this one also has an implicit modifier, plus 15 to dexterity and so on. This one has implicit cold resistance, this one has lightning resistance. So so right now I want to talk about the local and global modifiers. So what local modifiers are? So they usually change the item-based stats directly. So what this means, yeah, this is a good example. Uh, this helmet has an evasion rating. It has 354 evasion rating on it. So this is the local modifier. You see this line, evasion rating. This is the local modifier on this helmet. Or this one. This helmet, this has a local modifier of 202. But they can get changed. How? With the modifiers on them. So you see this stats, increased energy shield. It's gonna affect this local modifier on your item. So if this wasn't existed on this item, this would be like 100 energy shield. But because it's affected by this uh, implicit modifier, and in case this is prefix and this is an implicit modifier, our local modifier are gonna get boosted and it goes higher, right? So for example, this weapon also has local modifiers, and what they are, in this case, it has a physical damage of 52 to 78. It also has a local modifier of crit chance 9% and also attack per second, which is 1.30. So if I hit this item with our currencies, you're gonna see if I get the specific modifiers on it, uh, the physical damage of this item is gonna go higher. So the local modifiers are gonna get changed uh, by the implicit modifiers on on your item. All right. So I also talked about uh, global modifiers. Just I don't want to confuse you, but I'm just gonna just give a brief explanation on them. So the global modifier affects your character overall stats, regardless of an item. Like plus 10 dexterity on a ring is a global modifier, or for example, which is called, okay, this one. You see this increased damage? This is also a global modifier. It's gonna increase the whole damage of your character. This is just gonna give you a quick example. So the increased damage is also is a global modifier. So I don't wanna make you guys confused. So that's enough for the global modifiers. All right, let's go to the second part. We're gonna talk about basic currencies and how to use them to do basic crafting. So I grabbed this weapon, the talisman, and we're gonna do a basic crafting on this one. So as we said, this item is level 81, so we are allowed to do any of these currencies here on it. Why is that? Because this is item level 81, and the minimum modifier level for the higher tier orb of transmutation, which is perfect, is 70. This is 81, right? So we are allowed to use this on the item. And this is a white item, right? So we can use a orb of transmutation to turn it to the magic item. So what this does do, as you hover over it, is also explain, upgrades a normal item to a magic item with one modifier. So let's hit it with the perfect orb of transmutation. So it gives us a suffix. So it's random. It can give you also a prefix, but it gives us a suffix. So how to get a second modifier on this item? We have to use orb of augmentation. The item level again is 81, so we are allowed to use this because the modifier level, minimum modifier level to be able to use this currency, the perfect one is 70, so we can use it. So because we have suffix, if we use orb of augmentation, it's gonna give us a prefix. It's always like that. So if the orb of transmutation give you prefix, the orb of augmentation gonna give you suffix and vice versa. So in this case, we got T1 prefix increased physical damage. Oh, so actually this is the prefix. It's gonna affect our local modifier. So if you go back, you can see the local modifier, the physical damage on this was lower. But because we get this explicit modifier on it, it went higher. Alright, so this is a magic item. How we are gonna turn it to the rare item with the regal orb. We're gonna use the best one we have here, the perfect regal orb. So this one also random. It can go to the prefix or to the suffix. It depends on your luck. So we're gonna hit it with the perfect. Like let's use the greater regal in this case. Doesn't matter, you can use any of these. But as you go and use the better one, you're gonna get better tiers of modifiers on them. So this is 50. It's gonna remove all the low tiers like up to T5. T5 to T9 is gonna get removed from your pool. So you only gonna roll T4, T3, T2, and T1. This one is gonna remove T7 and T8. So from T1 to T7 can roll on your item. And the regal orb, it's gonna include all the tiers in your pool, T1 to T9. So let's hit it with the greater regal orb. So we got the reduced attribute requirement, and this is T2. So we got lucky and it gives us T2. It could be T6 or T5, for example. But we got lucky and we got T2. Actually, this is not a really good mod at all. And this is a suffix modifier. And what is this? This is the explicit modifier. The implicit was these ones, for example. This is the implicit. These are all explicit modifiers, which includes prefix and suffix. Alright, so we have a rare item now, so we are not going to be able to use any of these three row currencies on them anymore. We only can use exalted orb on this to get three more modifiers on this item. So let's hit it with, for example, with exalted orb. Okay, we got T1 accuracy. Let's hit it one more time. We got increased stun duration. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can still hit it one more time. Alright. And the last mod was the cold damage, flat cold damage, which is a prefix. So we are done with this item. It is holding 6 modifier right now, and it cannot hold any more modifiers on it. The maximum is 6. So what does the chaos orb do? This is when this currency comes to play. So what does this do? Removes a random modifier and augments a rare item with a new random modifier. So what this means is, you see all these 6 modifier on this item. If I use a chaos orb on it, any of these modifiers can be replaced with a new random modifier. It's not guarantee or anything. It could be any of these modifier. So let's hit it and see which one is gonna get changed. Alright, what got changed? I actually don't know what got changed. Let's hit it one more time and see what stats do we have here. Okay, the cold damage replaced with the fire damage, and it's T10. It's like the worst tier you can get on your item. Alright, this was the basic crafting on your items, and let's move to the last part, which is how to use crafting exile tool. Okay, so just go on Google and search for craftofexcel.com. It's gonna bring up this page, and then make sure you click on POE 2 because it also includes POE 1. So click on the POE 2. Then you're gonna come across with this page. As you can see, we have all these base groups items like body armors, boots, charms, flasks, gloves, helmets, jewelry, jewels, offhand, one-handed weapon, tablets, and so on. So let's go to the gloves, for example. Then it's gonna give you a base. The items have base. Like a gloves can be intelligence base. A gloves can be a strength space. A gloves can be a hybrid, a strength and deck space. So what this means is if you see this glove, this is an intelligence space gloves. What about this one? This is the hybrid one because it requires a strength and dexterity. So this is a strength and dexterity base type. Okay, so let's go to the strength and dexterity type, for example. Alright, so you can see all the modifiers, prefix and suffixes. These are the prefixes can roll on your gloves. All these modifiers, it's random. Once you use those basic currencies, you can roll any of these modifiers on your item. These are the prefix. You can have up to 3 prefix on your item and 3 suffix on your item, right? So we were talking about the tiers, right? You can also watch the tiers on the modifiers. So for example, the increase armor and evasion. So if we click on this one, it's gonna show you the tiers. So the tiers for the increase armor and evasion, it starts from 7 and it goes to T1, which is the best one. So each tiers also has a weight. You see, this has 1000 weight, and you remember I told you what are the odds to roll higher tier mods on an item depending on the mod's weight? This is what I'm talking about. This is the item weight, and the odds to roll this the T1 increase armor and evasion is 1.64%. So let's look at the, for example, attack speed. The attack speed has 4 tiers: T4, T3, T2, and T1. What's the weight on it? The weight on the T2 and T1 is 500. What is the odds to roll this? It's only 0.6. Let's look at another one, like uh, let's go to the prefix. Okay, life. The life has 9 tiers. T9 is the lowest, and uh, the highest is T1, which is and the minimum is 120 and the maximum is 149. So once you if you hit it with the perfect exalted all, you have a really high chance to roll T1 maximum life, for example, on your item. So the perfect exalted orb, it's gonna remove the T6, T7, T8, and T9. So you still have a chance to roll T1, T1, T2, T3, T4, and T5 life mods on your item. What's the weight? It's all 1000 for the T1, T1 and to T5, and the odds are 1.64. So yeah, just play around with this tool. It's very useful. You can just go and get familiar with different types of items and base types. Like you can go to the two-handed weapons. We have all these base type: fire staff, ice staff, two-handed axe, two-handed sword, two-handed mace. These are not still available in the game. So yeah, for example, you go to the staff, you see the mods. If I go back, what just happened? I don't know. So anyway, just go and take a look at this website. It just lots of information in here and you guys can learn a lot. Alright guys, that's everything I guess for today. Thanks for watching. As always, see you guys all later.